learned how to sing in the rain. I've learned how to dance past the pain. I've learned how to see past the flames. Yeah. I've learned I can handle this change. I've learned how to live past my fears. I've learned how to smile through the tears. I've learned whatsoever state I'm in, I am content. I've learned to abase and abound. I've learned to embrace when I'm down. I've learned whatsoever state I'm in, I am content. I am content. Oh, I am content. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Thank y'all for joining Shameless Conversations on tonight. I am your host, Marnisha T, your GPS, God's personal servant. Tonight we're gonna have a good night. Got great topics going on. A great topic going on. I have the honor and the privilege to be co-hosting with me, two amazing young gentlemen, young men. They're old men, but young men. Pastor B, Brandon Sanders, affectionately known as Pastor B, the great Pastor B. I call him Apostle B. And then I have that's for the church people, y'all. I'm giving these out so y'all know these people, they certified in life, okay? Because some people don't really recognize people unless titles. So I'm just letting it be. So Pastor B, come on in. How you doing, sir?
Greetings. I am well. How about yourself?
I'm all right. Next, we have on the panel tonight none other than Leandra Stockley. He has a lot of titles. So he has a whole bunch of stuff. He's a mastermind, a creator, an artist, a fashion designer, all those good things. He is, and he's also my apostle. So if y'all needed to know, that's in the church world. And I'm just me.
Oh, you just you.
I'm just me. Welcome to the stage. As they did you make that face, Lee? There go the silence. Are you speaking? Can y'all hear him?
Cannot hear him at
My
all.
bad. I was muted. I stay muted. Muted.
You stay muted.
I just listen for my name.
Leandra, I just want to start by the fact that she called both of us old. I don't know who she talking about old though.
I said,
so that there's a scripture that says, "Answer not a fool." So
that is the word.
A wise man once said nothing.
But see, that's why I said young gentleman multiple times. Okay. Mm-hmm. See, you just want to, people I want to hold on to the negative part. But anyhow, thank y'all for joining me. I'm glad to have y'all on this show tonight. Tonight's topic is partners versus what's the next word?
Projects.
Where did my mind just go?
I don't know.
That was an old move. Okay. Partners versus projects. So this title hit me. This thing came in. I have them different discussion topics that come, but this one I'm like, we're gonna definitely do this one. And if these men are available, we're gonna hit the panel, we're gonna talk, we're gonna answer questions, we're gonna get into the nitty-gritty, because in this world that we have a lot of relationships, and this world is full of relationships, and a lot of times, you know what? Before I keep going, let me acknowledge everybody that came into the room, because there's some dope people that entered the room. What's going on, Sister Shara? How you doing? What's up? Hey, my boo, Jay Royale. Hey, babe. That's my babe. What's going on, Tisa? How you doing? I feel funny, y'all, saying her name just Tisa. It just feels so weird, like I'm cussing. Hey, Ed. That's Minister Brother Ed. That's the good Bishop. What's going on, Bishop Daniel? Hey, that's Bestie right there. Tiffany. What's going on? Pop member, none other. She say, well, now that's going to preach. All
Daniel.
right. Huh?
And Will.
Daniel Ratliff. I see Daniel there. And Tiffany.
Yeah, Daniel, Tiffany. All the good people. All the good people. So, I'm in Shameless Conversations. You know, it's a platform where I normally interview people to do their stories or talk about how they overcame shame. And once a month, I do a panel discussion topic where it is not talked about, or it is talked about maybe in one-on-one conversations, but we never really get to kind of a resolve or seeing the difference and getting other people's minds. So this topic, thought, and get into other people's minds. This topic tonight, I want to just, hit it. Don't hold no bars hold, just say it in what revelation you get. Because this show is to reach all people, no matter your creed, no matter sexuality, no matter your spirituality, no matter your race. We are a Shameless Conversation here for all people. All right. So, question. The first definition I want y'all just to ask when I ask y'all, what Brandon, what is a partner? Pastor B, I'm sorry. What's your definition of a partner?
Oh, wow. So your partner is someone who is supposed to be there, walking with you through this journey that we call life. It's someone that you're supposed to be able to depend on. They should be somewhere where you're falling short, they should stand strong. And where they're falling short, you should stand strong. Someone that should be your safe space at all times and in every situation. That's what I feel like a partner is.
Okay. Lee, Czar, you have any piggyback on that one?
I agree. Okay. I agree with what he's saying. I think it's how can you put it? To me at least, because I view partner maybe different than most people would view the romantic sense of, whatever, but it's that one that walks alongside you throughout your life, for all of what that is, that's sexually, sensually, socially, domestically, if that be the case, however you really design that. But it's that person, if we're speaking about a significant other type of partner, it's that person who you share that mutual vulnerability with, and walk alongside for maturity and growth purposes, and just being purposes of just really truly being able to be who we can be. But everything else, like Pastor P said, I agree with that.
All right. So what's your
accountability partner?
Your accountability partner. Cool. So what's your take, Leander, on a project?
A project in terms of a relationship is what you're speaking.
You can answer that however your heart feels, because it's going to get probably incorporated, definitely.
Yeah, there's some things. I think that there's some things that seems a little project-ish sometimes in relationships with other people, and I'm speaking about it more so from the context of relationships, that can seem a little project-ish in relationships because we are there to kind of help each other. All right. But more generally speaking, when people see it, it's people trying to change somebody else into whatever. This process of trying to change somebody or to create something out of somebody else, honestly, or the fix mentality, or to fix them. And this is that and the other. So that's how I see it used most of the time when we're talking about relationships. It's usually formulated or comes out, manifests in that kind of way.
Okay. I want to give the Google definition, the first one, of project. an individual or collaborative enterprise that is carefully planned to achieve a particular aim. Okay. Yeah. Now, we have translated project into pretty much what Leander have said, that the person is it's a work that needs to be done.
Yep.
Okay. So but if we really look up, when I just read through definition, it says it's a collaboration for something to get done, an enterprise
Mm-hmm.
to get done. And so when we look at that, it can be a whole bunch of stuff because you're building something. Okay, a partner, Google definition, either a pair of people engaged together in the same activity, either a member of a marriage couple or whatever, but engaged together in the same activity. So we're gonna ask this. Oh, Brandon, you said change is manipulation, and manipulation is the result of purposeless. Yeah, say the word. That's the tongue. I can't even talk.
Absolutely.
Are you going to say absolutely on that one, sir? Is that how we
No, I'm saying absolutely as it pertains to your statement. I mean, my statement that you're reading. Change is manipulation, and manipulation is result of purposelessness. When you don't have a purpose to be a part of something, you then begin to manipulate it to fit your ill-gotten gain. And so, for a lot of people, if you are going to say that someone is a project, I would then turn around and say 9 times out of 10, we're operating in some manipulation.
Which is true. Because to have a partner, even in partnership, I believe it's always going to be some type of a project. Now, do I make you the project, or do I make our ultimate goal the project? Lee, you was about to say something.
Because, and again, people don't generally talk about it in this way. I posted the other week and I said, if you're not willing to walk with somebody through their healing, their development, their growth, and all of these, whatever, and not just walk with them through it, but also be an agent in it, or be some form of support and agent in it, then you're probably not ready for a relationship with somebody. Not in that sense, or a partnership in that sense, because it is, we generally now pick our partners based off of our grocery list of things that we want. We don't pick our partners based off of the reality of our design, right? And because we don't do that anymore, it's all more so about what we want, right? So then we lose the real purpose of relationality, of relationship, period, right? We think the relationship is to have nice, cute accessories to our life. This is why you hear people say all the time, I don't need nobody, I'm all this, whatever. But the reality of relationship, we actually are in relationship as humanity in this whole sense of oneness. We're in relationship to support each other, to actually accept each other, support each other, and to be what we are, fully what we are for that other person. How do we achieve that? We achieve it in the same means through relationship. Relationships are actually how we grow. It's actually how we align to who and what we are. And we generally see these things as divided. And the truth is they're not divided. So it's like, yeah, there's your work that you do, but there's also part of doing your work is finding accountability partners to help support you and to hold you to you being you for what it is that you do. So I think that because the whole aim has been, what do you want? I hear that all the time. And then we're getting a little crafty now. We're saying, I'm starting to hear people say, what do you need in a relationship? And some of the things that they list as needs are still really just wants. But, it's like
that part.
But because we're afraid to say, I need Pastor B. We scared to say that because we've been hurt. We've been, whatever. And then we're in a culture now where everything is just about you can have what you want, attract, law of attraction, So it's so many fundamentals that go into this that I think has shifted what we're looking for in partners. And I'm not necessarily going to say it's right or wrong. I'm just saying we see some of the result.
All right.
Absolutely.
Pastor B, question.
Okay.
It's a little personal.
Okay.
Have you ever felt like you were someone's project?
Once. Yep. Um, I was, I won't say dating. I was talking to someone who, I was talking to someone who has some great influence. I will say that. Um, and I, of course, younger than them, they could not fathom in their mind that I just enjoyed spending time with them. I enjoyed getting to know them. They felt like because they had money and influence that they had to come along and try to change my life to what they thought it should look like. And I quickly had to let them know I'm not that type of person. If I'm going to be with somebody, it's because I actually genuinely like them. I want to be with them. Um, I'm good with where I'm at. You know, I'm not, your life is your life. The way you live is the way you live. I'm not necessarily trying to ascertain that. I'm good with being in my lane. I tell people all the time.
Come on, ascertain.
I tell people all the time, accidents happen when you try to drive in somebody else's lane at the same time in which they're driving in their lane. Accidents happen. I've learned to just be in my space, occupy the lane I'm supposed to be in, do the things that I want to do. So to answer your question, yeah, I have. And when I realized that that's what they were trying to do, I quickly parted ways.
Cool. So question to you, Lee. Have you ever been in a situation where you was the contractor?
Where I was the contractor?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like being the projector, like being the one to
Yeah.
project.
To create
I
the
think
project.
indirectly, yes. I think yes, yeah. Like I don't think the intent was ill, but I do think the position was that, because I have this thing where I see people, I see folks' potential. I see what they should be. I also see, like when I look into people's eyes, I genuinely, this is one of the okay, there's a piece of being on this autistic spectrum, so I don't really look in the eye contact thing is whatever. But there's also the spiritual side to this for me. When I look into people's eyes, I truly do see what I consider to be what I call this endless heaven, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I see a lot of times people as they have been designed.
Mm-hmm.
So then when I'm seeing what's happening in their life, particularly if it's causing a bunch of issues, even with them, like even if it's not with me, I'm prone to go to, how can I put it? It's not so much to make them a project, but I'm prone to support them in ways that they ain't even asked for. Or to try to bring out something in them that they haven't even asked for. And in that sense, they can feel like they have become a project. I genuinely want to be with them, honestly, or be, and this is from friendships to romantic relationships to anything that I'm really actually a part of, even business. If I see something in a sense which I consider a divine eye, but I have to pull back and say, they didn't ask you for that.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't ask you for that. So in that sense, yeah, I've actually come alongside some people in a way that for them could feel like I was trying to change them. And it really was just me trying to support who they are. And there's some selfishness in it, because I also want you to be what I see you are. Because 9 times out of 10, that's one of the reasons that I chose you. Do you know what I mean? So, I mean, if we're just being honest, it's like we look at, you see that potential, or you see that because, and honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you, to a degree, that's what I long for people to see in me. I know that left to myself, I'm a mess. I know it. I mean, I'm doing okay, but ultimately left to myself, there's a piece of me that does not unfold until the GPS says, I need you to be, or I need you to come up. I need you to, and now I need you to come up as in not being something that I know you are, like being something different than what you are. I need you to come up to the potential of what you are. And it can get muddy. Don't get me like I'm it gets muddy and it gets, you know, it gets crazy. You know what I mean? But that's just humanity. You know, and all of this is an ebb and flow. You know, but yes, to answer your question, I've been in that position. I've been in that position, or at least perceived to be in that kind of position.
Well, I've been in both. So I have been the one to try to control change.
Yeah.
Because of, and I didn't realize that, you know, and it was because of the potential. It was because of, oh, I believe in you. You can do this, you know. But then, in the point of me saying, I'm believing in you, you can do this, it comes to, well, let me set up the scenario for you. Let me put this in front of you.
Yeah.
You know, good evening, Tasha. That's another one of the good friend of mine. It's a thing that I have put and said, okay, well, I know you can make money. So guess what? I'm gonna sacrifice something I want to give you an open door to help you believe in yourself more. And like you said, they didn't ask me for that.
That's
But I
the
have
question
said,
you gotta ask.
you know what I'm saying? And I have been that one to say, you know what? If nobody else believe in you, I'm gonna believe you and I'm gonna rock with you. Yeah, I know you're crying in the midnight hour, but we gonna wipe them tears and we gonna go one more time and blase skippy. And I'm up here, just for an example, up here setting up job interviews, creating resumes, putting resumes into jobs for people because they feel like they not good enough for nobody to work. So I'm gonna just push them to do it. And that became a chore. Even though I believed in them and I loved and I wanted the best for them, I was trying to create something that they wasn't ready to do at that time. So I belittled them in a way.
Timing is everything.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Instead of giving encouragement, they can look back and say, now it wasn't said to me, but I'm looking back and saying, they definitely could have said, nah, I don't want that job. I didn't ask you to do that. What you doing that for? Like now you trying to control me? And all I'm trying to do is be that support and what I thought was being that partner to help push you along through your muddy area, through your time of discouragement. You know, I look back to where and this wasn't so, yeah, romantic relationship. I'm going to stay there since we're right there. Even in a romantic relationship, I respected my partners or whatever, and it's been probably more than once, and it's been instances in seasons where I ended up trying to change myself based on what they wanted. So what they said, I did
now
not.
That's what will fail every time. But
Right.
go ahead.
Right.
Go ahead.
What they wanted, I suffocated who I was. And then they say, well, you're not the person I met. I'm not, because I'm now trying to do things that the way you want it to be done. And I lost the essence of who you liked, was attracted to in the beginning, because I said, well, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm not this. I need to bring in this amount of money, and I'm only bringing it in, so let me get 3 more jobs, and then I pass out at work. You know, so all this other stuff, I stopped walking in the beauty of who I was to try to sustain a relationship that started being built on a lie. I was going to say something false, but it's a lie. I'm becoming your project. I'm becoming what you want me to be to satisfy you, instead of me standing true to who I am and either giving you the choice to say you want this or not. And becoming a project is a form of walking in fear.
It is. It's a reflection. It's a reflection. Like we'll be surprised at how much that even that need to change other people, or that need, even like I was saying, to push people to what their potential is, how much that is a reflection on ourselves. How much of that is actually a reflection of what, and again, not in an evil, ill kind of way. There is a degree of, when I look at my life and my relationships, I don't get a lot of fulfillment from my relationships anymore. So there's this thing that's like, I want people to be what they really are, who they really are, the potential that they really are, because it's not that, but that's a reflection of me.
It
That's a
is.
reflection of my drama, well, I don't even want to say drama. That's a reflection of my trauma. That's a reflection of
Mm,
having lived a life so long and feeling like you're alone, feeling like whatever, or having living a life and you feel like your relationships were not restful, right? Because we
Mm.
have to have rest in our relationships. And when I'm talking about rest, is we need to be seen, known, loved, heard, right? And what's often left out is we need to rest in a relationship, meaning that I need to know that me being me is enough. I need to know this is what we all need. Like, this is not something where we get to pick and choose this. Every human needs this, and people try to act like they don't. All right. The same thing you needed when you were 3 is the same thing you need when you're 33 and 43. We, for some reason, we think we don't still need those to be seen, heard, known, loved,
yep.
right? And to rest, to
Mm.
know that if I don't meet this cultural standard, my relationship with you is not shifted. If I let you down, my relationship goes unchanged. You said that the whole thing of trying to change to be something that somebody needs, right? Like you said, it comes from fear that if I don't become this, even though your intention is sort of good, if I don't become this, now the relationship is going to be threatened to some degree, and I'm going to lose this particular person. But all the time, it's like I use the example of water. Water is made up of H2O, right? Hydrogen and oxygen. Hydrogen and oxygen are still hydrogen and oxygen. It's just when they come together, they're not focusing on trying to be water.
Mm.
They're focusing on being what they are. Hydrogen is still being hydrogen. Oxygen is still being oxygen. It just so happens when they come together, they create this water. That's a natural flow from them being what they are.
That's good,
Neither
sir.
one of them had to change. They just are being what they are. And
That's
we go into
good, sir.
relationships and we stop being what we are to become what we think we need to be. And then now it ends up failing, falling, and being a lot of issues. So it's like you have to go into a relationship as yourself and stay as yourself. That don't mean we
Yeah,
don't make adjustments, but any
that's
adjustments we make have to come from the essence of our being, not
I
from the
have,
fear of our being. You know what I mean?
we
Like, it has to come from the essence of our being. I can make a little shift, make an adjustment, but that's not a core change. That's actually me expanding myself in this particular way. But yeah, it comes from our own traumatic experience. And I'm using the word trauma, which is a heavy word. I probably should use something a little lighter because everything's not trauma
no,
to everybody.
right.
But it does come from that. It's a reflection of myself. But in my view of oneness, though, it's not an ill thing. It's just a thing that we have to be mindful of. I want Marnisha to be her best self because by default, I'm going to receive from you being your best self. There's something you have in being your best self that I do need, but I can't manipulate you to do it. I have to just hope and pray that the eyes of your understanding be enlightened, that you would know what the hope of your calling is.
Come on. Pastor B, you was about to say
Ooh.
something.
Okay, so I want to make two statements. The first being, it's funny we're doing this relationship, talk thing because literally about 2 years ago I sat with a group of preachers, and we did this very conversation along these same lines about 2 years ago. And something that happened there is continuing to happen in this conversation. We keep throwing around this word potential.
Mm.
Here's the thing. We can never fall in love with a person's potential. We have to fall in love with their reality. Because here's the truth. We all have the potential to be millionaires and billionaires. We all have that potential. But reality is, majority of us will never reach that place. And not because we don't have the potential, but sometimes we lack the drive. We lack the ambition. Sometimes we lack what we feel like is the skill to get there. So
Or the
we
desire.
off or the desire. So what we have to realize is when we fall in love with a person's potential, all it does is set ourselves up for disappointment because that person may not ever get to the place of that potential. Um, I tell people, especially if I'm doing marriage counseling, if you want me to officiate your wedding, we sit down and we have a couple of discussions. We're just going to have to. I tell them make sure you are in love with their reality. Because here's the thing, you may see their potential, but you also have to deal with the fact that it may be 10 years from now and they're in the same place that they are today. Ask yourself,
Mhm.
is that enough for you? Is that enough for you to continue on in this marriage? If you can say right now that it's not, this might not be the person for you. Because then you, in your mind, if it's not enough for you and you go through with it, now we're getting into manipulation because now I'm pushing you into something that you may not be ready for. The Bible says, I'm sorry, I got to be me. The
Leave
Bible
folks.
says to everything there is time and season. There's a time to plant, there's a time to reap. Well, here's the thing. If you're pushing me into my reaping and I have not even gotten to my planting, you're pushing me into a place out of season.
Good. Good
I'm
illustration.
never going to prosper in my reaping if there has not been a successful planting.
Mm, that's true.
That's my first statement. My second statement is when God caused Adam to fall asleep and he formed woman. It what when Adam woke up, it wasn't just because God presented Eve to Adam that Adam knew who she was. Adam recognized her because there was a part of his greatness that was locked inside of her.
It was like in there. Mhm.
So here's the thing. We have to be careful with how we look at people because a lot of times we can see our greatness locked inside of them. And so then we ultimately put ourselves in the place of a project because then we're like, okay, I understand that some of my greatness is locked inside of you. Now I need to know how to get it from you. But then also, Eve looked at Adam and she not only saw his reality, she not also saw his potential, she also saw his weakness. She saw what she could do, here we go, to manipulate him into doing what she wanted him to do. Now, I don't want anybody to take my comment and say that Pastor B or Brandon is saying that women are manipulative. No, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm
You
saying in
know you
this
saying that
instance,
now.
I'm, I'm saying in this instance, Eve looked at Adam and saw how to manipulate him. So when we get to the point of the fruit, she was able to get Adam to do exactly what she wanted to do. We have to be careful when we are in the place of Eve where we can see someone's potential and we can see their greatness inside of them. We also have to make sure we're not using and tapping into their weakness to manipulate them to get them to do and be what we want them to be.
So the phrase that everyone is saying now, because everybody now is getting to their self-healing journey, and healing and all this other stuff, and then it somehow, well, not somehow, it ties back into oneness with each other and needing each other. That's neither here. I want to stay right on topic because I had a revelation about that the other day about the end time and all this other stuff. So I'm not going to go there. But it's definitely more about unity. Anyway, so um, um, when we have the comment that it said, allow people to do what they allow. Watch what is it? Watch what people do, so then you can see where they want to be. Something like that. If I watch what they doing, then they'll tell you where they ultimately want to be, right? So, but if we keep manipulating and making them keep drawing off of us, are their intent to be with us pure? Because if I know your weakness or I see your weakness and I'm going to feed into that to get what I want, I'm actually becoming, allowing you, I'm defeating you. I'm not building you up. I'm really tearing you down. And it was something last year that me and Leandro talked about, and we was talking about relationships, and he was just, saying about how it is so easy to live in our ego and be led by our ego. And when we led by that, we end up manipulating and not giving people the space to give us what they really desire. So if I love you and I really want to have a formal relationship with you, I'm going to come to you correctly. I'm going to honor you. I'm going to respect you. I'm going to do the things that I've deemed in myself is the way I walk out my love, my relationship, right? But if I'm up here, keep trying to say, well, I know you hungry, so I'm gonna continue to feed you, and you because I don't want you to go to nobody else's house to eat, and you may really want to go to other people's house. But I'm going to make sure that I give you exactly what you want to what you need so you can continue to eat from my table. And then in the end, the result is both parties are defeated. Both parties are wounded. Both parties are really hurt because I'm actually crippling you to not become the best version of yourself. Like Pastor B said, the phrase he just said about um dang, I lost it. But anyway, it was tied along to what you was talking about, is the being in the potential. And that's the thing, when we do fall in love with people potential, we do end up becoming a project or being the one to uh control people indirectly instead of letting them live from their true self, and then having the choice to say, I can deal with that, or I'm not going to deal with that. I
Mhm.
can see, I can see that is this relationship worth it? And I'm even finding so many times where we say you're worth it. No, is the relationship worth it? We go into relationships or partnerships with people not knowing our end game. We just want to have our now fix. So, what are we building with each other? What's the point of us linking? What's our purpose? Is it for us to just have sex? Then that's that. Then what it is? Is it a purpose for us to come together to build an empire, to build a family, to build, whatever it is? But we kind of go into relationships wanting. I need my ego stroke right now. I need my, you know, I need to feel good in this moment. However way you're gonna make me feel good, make me feel good.
Mhm.
And so we don't know the end game, and we don't. Then we start pointing the finger. Oh, they're not worth it.
Mhm.
But the vision has to be worth it. The bigger
Mhm.
picture is worth it. Do we? Do you? It's not because it don't matter what you do. Everybody deserves to be loved. You know what I'm saying? Everybody deserves to be appreciated.
Right.
Everybody deserves that. Now, are we matched for that? Do I want to continue to put up with some of this stuff? Are you just for my now, or are you for my future?
Mm.
And and I would generally say everybody is worthy of it, because
Yes.
deserving deals with earning. It deals
Mhm.
with what we, whatever. So it's like I generally come from the idea. I agree with what you're saying. It's like, but I generally say everybody's worthy. We don't determine that. We're not the ones that determine that. We've become like him and started judging, right? But that
Mhm.
was never our role in the first place. And a lot of this,
Hmm.
like you're saying, to me, like even what we're talking about, a lot of it is both and.
Hmm.
Because here's the thing: is we speak a lot from, like you're saying, like we talk about the ego part. We speak a lot from separation. We are not separate. It's this illusion of separation that causes all of these issues in the first place. Even
We're
the
all
way we
joined.
create our lists, approach
Hmm.
this way, like, and I get it. Most people don't operate at that level of consciousness. This is all I think Jesus was teaching. But because we need these compartments, we need a chronological order of love, we need whatever. Then that's why the self-love stuff is so huge today. None of that stuff makes sense to me in reality. So I'm just gonna tickle myself. Self, the whole idea, and it sounds cute. Don't get me wrong. It sounds cute, it sounds good, and there is something true in it,
It is.
but it's
Mhm.
not the truth. It's not the
Mhm.
whole truth. But we
Right.
we most of our conversations, listen to people talk. Most of our conversations are still very individualistic.
Yeah.
When we talk about entering into a relationship, it's not based off of design. It's based off of what we want, what we desire. So then we wear our relationships just like we would wear a nice piece of jewelry.
And
Just
let,
I
like
let
we
me
would
get.
wear, or we would buy that house that becomes a commodity that we own. And it becomes about owning instead of belonging. Right.
Mm,
So then we're trying to make these shifts and trying to make these changes. But like I said, it's both and, because there's always going to be the key is wisdom. wisdom on how to actually navigate. I was going to say balance, but it's not even balance. The key is actually wisdom on how to actually navigate the relationships that we're in. You can use, and we got to understand, what spirit are you coming from? What energy are you in this moment? Because I can literally say, and this is just an example, I can say, let me go home, get home and clean this crib because I don't want him or her bitching. Right? And then I go home and clean the crib. Right? What energy did I clean it in?
Not the right energy.
This fear. Or I can say, let me go home, clean the crib, get it good, smelling good, looking good, whatever, so that when him or her or they come home,
not they
got a peaceful space. They got a space that's just like, that's a
We're covering all
thriving
bases.
space. The conditions are just good. The action was the same. But the motivation, the spirit of it was completely different. So a lot of these things, and the reason I'm saying that sometimes it's both and, is because we do come alongside each other in that way. And this is clinically and science backed and psychologically backed. And now we're actually beginning to see, even from biology backed, it's in relationships as to how we grow. I don't care what I had to love myself first in order before I could love. That's a lie from the pit of hell. None of you loved yourself first. Nobody loved their self first. We loved because we were first loved.
Come on, help the room. Help the people.
We do. But it sounds good though now. I need to love myself first. There is no first. Really, if we be honest, the only first comes from the Creator. The rest of it begins to, and then when you're a baby, right? You're a baby. You're not necessarily, all you know is to whang, get what you want. So then your parents or your society or your environment begins to love on you. Hopefully. Some of the problem of today is we didn't have that. So now our whole thing of self-loving and going back to that is we're trying to answer a breach that happened a long time ago. So now we got to say, I got to love myself first. But the real order of this, and we lose sight of the order, we lose sight of the nature of it. The real order of this is a synchronization. It's all synchronized. Yes, you do need to love yourself, but to love yourself really just means include yourself in this thing called
your whole
love.
self. Your whole self.
It's like, if I'm going to love on you, then I need to love on me. But fear will push me out of that because I'm afraid now that you're not going to meet my genuine need. Because listen, people have genuine needs. There are genuine needs. There's just some things, I'm sorry. And it sounds horrible for conversations like this, but there's just some things you can't give to yourself. I'm telling you, how stupid does this look? Me trying to tickle myself. It's funny because it looks stupid, but it don't feel like the tickle as if Pastor B was to tickle me. There's a different dynamic that comes from it that we actually need. Yes, we need to know we're worthy, but guess what else? What else we need to know? I also need to know that I'm worthy to you. Absolutely. Now, you may not give me that, so I can't necessarily build my whole life around waiting for you to give it. But the design is such that we both need to know our worth, and we also need to speak to one another's worth.
All right. Let me read some of these comments. I was just this from Latasha. I was just about to say I have dumbing myself down to accommodate others, and I ended up depleted of my self-worth. And I believe Pastor B responded, it's the save a hoe mentality, which ultimately says more about our brokenness than that the people you are saving, which is so very true. Very
absolutely.
Very true.
We put more effort into trying to. I send a correction.
Okay.
When we adapt this Captain Save a Hoe mentality, and we're going out and we're trying to fix other people's issues, it says more about us, and what it says is, I don't know how to fix my own
shit. Okay.
I don't know how to fix my own shit. And so, because I don't want to put the effort, I don't want to put the time, I don't want to, do the work to fix me, I'm going to fix you. And ultimately, what we're trying to do is fix what we see about ourselves inside someone else. So we're not doing them any favors.
Not at all.
We're not saving them. We're ultimately trying to save or fix ourselves through them.
And we want somebody to even love us, so we make it easy for them to love us, and they're not really loving us.
No.
We're giving them access to actually abuse us. Tisa said, oh, this is what I was talking about. She's talking about me. Let people do what they want to, so you will see what they rather do.
Mm-hmm.
Yes and no. I honestly feel like yes and no. Y'all, I'm probably gonna be the the whatever the I don't know what you would call it.
I know where you're going, so let's hear
it. Yes and no, because again, we say this as if we're not connected. We also say this. I think we got to get to we see what our response is. A lot of times is coming from our pain and from how we have breached and how life has, whatever. And people think I'm naive when I'm saying what I'm saying. It's like I'm not naive. I just haven't lost sight of what our nature is. We respond out of what's normal. Even if you use the idea, the creation story of how things happen, people hang on this. The woman is the head. The man is the head, and the woman is the. That happened post-fall. Most of the way we live is post-fall reality.
And that was a consequence.
It's not nature. It's not like the Pastor B used the example of Eve and Adam. He noticed her, right, as bone of his bone, flesh of his flesh. She didn't say that she was piece of my. He said she is bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. Although she's standing over there,
she is. Of me.
She is a part of me. She's not a separate part of me. It wasn't until after this fall piece. Not to take it there, but this is a good frame of reference for it. It wasn't until after this fall piece that, first of all, he called her Eve, that she was named. Naming wasn't even supposed to happen, but that was a hierarchical thing. The animals and the plants he could name. We have dominion over them. She wasn't called Eve until after they fell. In other words, representing that he lorded over her now, right? He saw her separate from who he is, separate from himself. Right. And then in that sense, she became a project, property, and everything else that you would want to add to it. So it's like, if we really want to understand the fundamentals, and I get it, I totally get it. I counsel people every day, all day, and I'm looking at the brokenness and the hurt and the pain. And a lot of our responses is responses to pain. It's responses to the separation that we have as humanity. And some of us don't know no different. We were born into this stuff. This is how we kind of came in. So then our responses are really, to me, responses of fear and not responses of wisdom. There's a difference between wisdom, and I wrote about it in the book. Wisdom, WISDOM, wise dominion, all right? And wisdom, WISDUMB. That's actually dumb. That's not actually helping humanity to really thrive the way humanity was supposed to thrive. I agree with Tisa in the sense, let people be what they are.
Yeah, so you know what I was trying to say.
So you know what they are. But at some point, there's also the I see who you are, who you've shown me you are, who you're telling me you want to be, who you whatever. And then I need to come along. The Ubuntu philosophy says, I am because we are, right? My shirt says, I am we, the true nature of connection. And this is actually one of the anchor points for the vision for my relationship that we're actually in. But along with it, but again, it has to be, these people have shown you who they are, and they're asking you to help hold them accountable. To who they say that they are, right? So because otherwise you would be manipulating them, and this is and the other. But sometimes our eyes need to be opened, and we need to know each other's heart so that we know, is this where they would really rather be, or are they left to themselves? So that's where they're at. And if when we tap into the depth of that, and I'm only pointing this out again, not to disagree with Tisa, but to add to, because a lot of times we say these things and we don't add the wisdom on it. And then what I'm seeing happen in our society is folks saying you need to love yourself, you need to whatever, and everybody done ran off. When you say statements like that to a broken heart, it's only going to further the divide.
That's it.
It's not going to increase the community and increase this. The whole aim is oneness. It's not going to increase oneness. It's going to create the divide and separation. So we have to give the whole piece to that. I think
So okay, so with I agree with that, and that was one of my things because I made the comment about it and I couldn't say it right. She corrected and said it properly. This is what we be saying, this is kind of how I feel where, and you said it. Some when you people end up doing because they're left alone, and it's not healthy,
It's
and
not good.
it's not good. And I got a
It's not
revelation.
good that man should be alone.
I got a revelation about man being alone a couple of weeks ago, and I'm definitely going to talk about that. But I'm getting all this stuff together because the power of the damage of being alone. Yes, we get revelation. We get truth. We get all this other stuff. And I taught on Sunday as far as God loved us. We love because God loved us. It didn't say, and I always kind of grew up, oh, I love God. We love God because he first loved us. I love God. No, it don't say I love God. The scriptures say we love because God first loved us. So that didn't have to do with me and him. It had to do with me and y'all and the world. So I'm able to love you. Why? Because we was created from love. We was created in love. Love is our DNA. And if we're
It's who you are when you really start understanding it.
Exactly.
That's what the depth of that. Can I just jump on that real quick? Because you don't went there, the Bible study.
Okay.
We love because he first loved us. That's about him placing his image in us.
Yeah.
We hear the word
exactly
love and we make it a verb, we make it this whatever. He's saying we love because this is what we're made. We love because he first made us this way. This is what we're actually made of. This is more about imaging. And that's why it's like when I'm speaking about love, I say I am love for you. That's my recognition of my connection to the source, my connection to Abba, Father, source. It's the reality of this runs through our DNA. Even if you ain't doing it, the inspired action of it, it's still who you are. Now you might be, and I'm sure if you're not doing it, somewhere we can trace in your life and see where you're actually miserable.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not being who you are. You're being what the world needed you to do to fit in. And a lot of our responses to each other becomes what we're having to do to fit. These personalities we develop is because when we showed up as we are, it wasn't accepted for whatever reason.
It wasn't enough. Yeah.
It wasn't enough, bro. Like it wasn't enough. And then when it wasn't enough, what we do as humans, the way we're made, again, nothing malicious. We put
adapt.
on a coat that we try to put on a coat that is acceptable. Or we put on a coat that's going to protect us in some type of way. That's what personalities are. Your personality ain't who you are. Your personality is how you are. Often because of who you were showed up and somebody said that wasn't right. That ain't acceptable. And you need to kind of cover that up.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm sorry. Go ahead. I just had to jump in there with
so then I ended up tying in this next phrase with the phrase allow people to show you who they, I ended up tying another part to it where is that we get to a place of saying, because it's kind of like for me, it'd be like, it don't make sense for me to show you love. And it's still your choice to receive it. And it's still your choice to say, I'm going to accept your love. And then what if my love is not accepted? So then if my love is not accepted, then how can anybody say that show people where you want to be? I can't show people where I want to be, really, if it's still their decision to accept me or not. And so then we start walking in, and I was kind of playing in my head and trying to get both of them phrases in together, and it was confusing even, to myself. But it kind of didn't make sense because if I'm showing you who I am, and I'm being pure that I want to be here, and you still have the choice, it's almost like then what I'm giving my heart for. Now that's the bad side. This is how we feel and this is how we thinking because we're protecting ourselves. We put on that cloak, that coat of protection. We put it on because it's like, yo, I still, but then in the same breath it said, be true to who you are. But me being true to who I am is not going to get me the love and acceptance that I desire or I long for, because it's still your choice to choose me or not, even though I chose you.
Okay, so I got to say something here.
Go ahead. I'm just
All right. Oh, so here we go. Scripture. My sheep know my voice, and another they will not hear. I'm going to say it again because I really want you to catch what's being said here. My sheep know my voice, and another they won't even hear. Here's the truth of the matter. You're right. It is my responsibility to show up and be who I am, unapologetically, authentically who I am. Show up and be who you are. It doesn't matter whether they accept or not, because here's the thing. They may not be my sheep. They may not be my village. They may not be the people I'm supposed to be attached or connected to. If you show up and present who you are, and who you are is not welcome and accepted, that simply means one thing. You're in the wrong room. That's all that means. You're in the wrong room. That doesn't mean take anything away from yourself. It does not mean alter yourself. It does not mean belittle yourself. It also don't mean try to puff yourself up to be more than what you are. It simply means I've sat down at the wrong table in the wrong room. The
then
people I'm
but
supposed
that also would mean then that we're in the wrong life.
Not necessarily.
You know, because here's the thing, and I get exactly what you're saying. I get exactly what you're saying. It's like when I'm sitting at my issue is with the word wrong, with the wrong thing, because oftentimes we don't fit where we do belong. I know that I belong in the church, but I don't fit.
But who said?
And
but
sometimes
who says
it's
you don't fit?
sometimes.
Oh, you froze. Hope you ain't talking.
Like the wrong time for them to be able to, or a season in time where they're not able to receive it. But here's the thing, and again, if we look at if we look at life as if we're a body,
Lee,
can we say the finger is in the wrong room? Huh?
Can you repeat what you just said? Because you have froze. I don't know if we got everything you said.
What I said last.
You froze on the part of, I know I belong in the church, but I don't belong. I mean, yeah, I don't fit in.
But I don't fit.
Right.
But I don't fit. I won't fit. I never got so much pushback. I was surprised at the pushback that I got from a book about love from church, whose whole message is supposed to be that. But I knew I was in the right place. You've heard me preach before, and I say, I know I'm in the right house. Whether you receive me or not is another story. All right. And I may have to, after I say what I say, or even not say, have to shake the dust. I promise you, it grieved Jesus when he said, go into the city, and if they don't receive you, shake the dust. That was a grievance. It's not that he went to the wrong city. Yeah, and this is not rebutting what you're saying, Pastor B, because it's like I get what you're saying, the concept of what you're saying. It's like, yeah, we have to go where we're actually truly received, because otherwise, what was, whatever. But it's like sometimes because we have that idea that I'm in the wrong space or I'm in the wrong whatever, it's almost like saying I'm in the wrong body. And the truth is, if we are one body, I can't say that the finger doesn't really belong because it's decrepit. It does belong. It just may not fit according to all of this other culture that is set. Because a lot of times, and what we're seeing right now, what we're really seeing right now is people who have not, and everybody's not going to do it. We're not going to see it in this lifetime, I don't think, who have not accepted the acceptable. Can I accept you for who you are? And here's the thing, as long as we're all in an unhealthy culture, we're going to constantly see people not accepting. But it doesn't mean it's the wrong space. It's like, because that, again, that's why I would say will mean that we're in the wrong life, meaning overall life. And again, I'm also not saying go sit in a room full of folks that's just completely disrespecting you and this is whatever. Again, I pray that the eyes be enlightened. He that has an ear, let him hear. Eyes, let him see. Those who don't see and those who don't hear, they're not necessarily wrong people. They're unawakened. They have not yet arrived
Mhm.
to that space of, I said earlier today, we do great with judgment, but we're not doing too well with discerning the spirit of a thing and
Mhm.
Right.
discerning where we actually really will really fit. And the only reason that I'm saying that in that way again is because we understand, and sometimes I know my language sounds cryptic sometimes, but it's like we understand unity, but we don't understand oneness. And it can also come off as very, naive, where people think of what I'm
Hmm.
saying. But it's like that's the only way that I know that we truly heal. And again,
Mhm.
I'm that same way. If I come somewhere and you're not receiving me, okay, I'm gonna go on and be. I'm gonna go on and be where I'm gonna go on and be. I'm not gonna change it. It grieves me if you don't receive me. I care what people think. I do. Now I'm not gonna change who I am because of what you think, but
Mhm.
I do care. The energy that it takes for me to not care is actually me leaving who I am.
Mhm.
It's me abandoning myself as a protection, because we do this with our protections. We abandon ourselves in the aim of protecting ourselves and not really realizing that if I have to harden my heart in order to get over you, if I have to harden my heart in order to, or if I have to just look at you as ill people or bad people or whatever, in order to really truly stand in the depths of who I am, something's still not healed. Something's still not, the word heal means whole. And if I
Mhm.
don't see this all as a wholeness, if I don't see it all in that sense and in that reality, and also to understand that there's going to be some that we suffer with, and
Mhm.
some that we suffer again. Jesus said, I have to go and suffer.
Mhm.
I'm going to have to go and suffer. These people, and this is the whole reason for him saying, forgive them, for they don't even know what they're doing. They don't even
Mm.
know what they're doing. And I think that when you go into a room and you're not received, they don't know that you came with the anointing. They don't know that you were anointed for them.
Mhm.
But I promise you one thing, even if they kicked you out, they ain't gonna never forget you.
Hmm.
They'll remember that one we kicked, that we put Marnisha out because she wouldn't dress right.
Well, you know what had happened was no,
Hmm.
no, but that's true, and that kind of answer internal question that I actually or feeling that I've been having, kind of dealing with for a while now, knowing that I'm called to the church, but I know the church ain't ready, or they don't. Church people don't receive me. You know, I can get a
It's the
word.
institution.
So it's like they can give me a word. They say you're anointed. They say you this. They say you that. They speak all this other stuff. But then when it's time for me to walk in it, they walk away. When it's time for me to speak, they not here. And so it's like, well, if God showed to me, like if God showed you that, was that for you or was that really for me?
Mhm.
Because sometimes we be thinking God needs to show you who really is around you and who really is anointed, but because of whatever reason, we don't want to. I didn't play the part. I didn't look the part. So I've been questioning God, am I really called to the church? But I know that I am called to the church, but I still don't fit in. Now I don't want to leave because reasons I go to church have nothing to do with people. It has all to do with people. You know what I'm saying? It's just the fellowship of it, the singing, the music. But I'm not going to get my gratification off of you, even though we don't want to, I don't want to forsake the assembly of the saints or the ain'ts because we all in this thing together. Whoever said you was an ain't, that's their business. Why you a saint, it don't matter. But we have gotten so much, we have gotten so embedded with these thoughts and these words that makes us align to the first sin, the only sin, the real sin is separation from God. Because when we start talking about our separation from God, and we start making other people be separate because you're not this, you're not that, whatever, then we fall in line and fall in the root of creating projects because we are
The whole
being
church
taught,
is a project.
the whole church, because something is wrong.
Listen,
Instead of saying, you
I'm
know
about to
what,
flip this phone.
we got issues. We all in this thing together, but now you trying to make me a project and make make it look like I need to be deemable for Jesus or worthy for God when I am God? How are you going to make me worthy for something that I already am? I put a post out here and it hit me 3:30 this morning. And I put, how are we going to be adopted into something that we already was created from? So we get the text, and we hear the scripture, oh, I'm adopted and created in the era of Christ. Baby, you are already from the lineage. So where did this adoption mentality come from? Because it came from a sense, again, of making it seem like we was less than something we was already created from. And when we get to the mentality of knowing that we was created in this, despite what happened to us, despite the cares of this world choking us out, despite us putting on our garments of protection, we are worthy. We deserve it because God, not because we did anything right, because God just found fit to say, you're here. Leandra, I need
it's you. Good. It's good.
Brandon, you're here. I made y'all. Y'all are here. Okay. So, but we have been taught that we have been separate, which y'all have been saying, which makes us walk in a loveless life, make us walk in a defense mechanism that we can't even receive what people really can give us at that moment. Because if somebody giving you what they have at that moment, it's precious. They may not have a lot. They may not have a lot of oil. They may not have a lot of love. What we deem is love. They may have, all I can give you right now, baby, is a good morning. And in that good morning, you don't know how hard it took them, the struggle, the push to just get up and roll over and text good morning. Because for some people, I'm using it as an example, some people, it's hell. I love you and I want you, but all I can give you is I love you. I mean, is a good morning. And that's what I have. And it may not be acceptable, but I hope you can walk with this journey with me until I'm at a place to say, good morning, how you doing?
I wish it was acceptable though. Like, because it should be acceptable. People just being, right? Because when we're being, we can have inspired action that comes from that being. We've traded image for institution. That's what this is. That's why you don't feel like, this is why we don't feel like we fit in the church, because the church became an institution instead of an image of the likeness of God. Image and likeness of God. And it's like, I can accept you just because you're made in the same image in which I'm made in. And when I accept you in that way and I let you be what you are, you're going to contribute to the whole in a way that's, even if you didn't do anything, you contribute, and there's something, and I don't have the language for it, but you emit something from just your being that is enough. Like, and you know, because even the ideas of enough, better, best, whatever, these measuring sticks, you know, they ate of the tree and they started judging. They started measuring. They started comparing. They started, and that I'm telling you, like, fundamental, that's where a lot of this gets shifted. This whole thing with the church, and like, even when I say I belong to the church, I ain't talking about these institutions. I'm talking about at large. The sense of being, I'm speaking image, not necessarily institution, which has all of its rules and regulations and say it's about relationship, but it's not really. And all, you know, all of these other caveats that really distract us from who we really are. I think in a healthy world, we would all accept each other. And I know that's ideal. I know that sounds ideal.
Pastor B, can you save your statement right quick? Hold it. I want to read some comments. That's good. That's it. That means you're giving your heart for a reason, not righteousness, which is powerful.
Right standing. That is powerful.
That's good. Somebody said, Jessica said, that's right. I don't know what that was too. But or I thought that if what you are giving is from your spiritual heart, you won't notice or rather be bothered like that. That's true. When you give from your spiritual heart, I like that too. Okay.
That ego, baby, kick in. Our ego.
Brandon said, Pastor B said, you do what God told you to do and let him deal with how they treat you. That is
yes,
totally
sir.
Correct.
Yes, sir. Let God be the police. Judge, jury, and executionist. Yes, sir.
That's true. That's true. Now go ahead, Pastor B, Apostle B, what you was about to say.
So I like what Leanza said, and it hit me so hard. I actually ran over to Facebook from my other phone and made a status about it. I gave you credit. I don't believe in taking people's words and I give them credit. So I gave you
Oh,
credit.
you could have had it.
But he said we've traded image for institution.
Hmm.
I have been saying something for the past couple of months. I'm called to pastor in the margins.
Hmm.
And what I mean by that is I want to remind people of image
Hmm.
so that we get away from this institutionalization.
Hmm.
I'm called to people who don't care about the rules of church,
Hmm. Hmm.
who don't want to deal with the institution, who don't want to keep hearing how they don't fit in, who don't want to keep hearing you on your way to hell because you don't look like us, who don't want to keep hearing you ain't got it because you don't wear the right clothes and your hair ain't the right way, and you ain't listening to the right kind of music. Well, I'll tell you now, on any given day, I'm kind of baby, I might be trapping one moment and shouting and praising God the next based on my music. Don't try to derive anything from my music because I promise you it'll have you in a place of confusion.
You in
I'm
Atlanta?
called. I am. I'm
Oh, that's
called
why.
to.
No,
Okay, I'm gonna give you that.
I gotta send y'all this
but
video. I'm gonna send y'all this video from with what you talking about. Go ahead though.
I'm called to pastor in the margins. And I sat with my bishop recently, and her and I were talking, and she asked me. She said, "What do you mean by this pastor in the margin?" And I told her, I said, "I'm called to pastor people who may not ever want to step inside of a church, an actual physical location ever again. But they still want spiritual guidance. They still want direction. They still want to have that person that they can come to and hear about God from without all the extra shit. I mean, let's just call it what a lot of it is. It's shit. We have these rules in church that don't amount to anything. Like I tell people, I can only speak from one aspect. Um, I spent majority of my life as a good old apostolic. 111. There's one way to God, baptized in Jesus' name. Uh,
Oh, you know that
but
old too well.
um, but in the apostolic church growing up, they had these crazy rules. One was, women couldn't wear toe-out shoes. That was against God. Well, where does it say that in the word? And women can't wear makeup because that's that Jezebel spirit. No, Jezebel spirit was the spirit of manipulation. And if you really want to be honest, more of your men pastors standing behind the pulpit operate in the spirit of Jezebel than these women do. But I'm not going to get into that because that's a completely different topic and conversation. Um, but I'm called to pastor people who want to get away from that. I Manisha, this goes back to something I talked about, that first Sunday walking into the Real Center, and it sparked so many other conversations. In Genesis, scripture says, let us make man in our image. We are a direct representation of God. We are, oh God, here we go. I hope I don't mess up too many people's theology with this one. We are God in the earth. I just want to help somebody. We are God in the earth. Before we were ever a physical manifestation, we were the spoken word. So that's when we developed the power to speak things into existence because we were spoken into. Okay, I'm sorry, y'all gonna catch that later. So before we were a
This
physical
whole preacher
manifestation.
man, this came on up.
Before the whole physical manifestation came, we were the spoken word. They gave us the power of the Ruah. We were the very Ruah of God. So now we in this physical manifestation. Here's the thing: those of us that are called to pastor in the margin, which honestly, both of you are all three of us are designed to operate in the margin, which is why a lot of times we feel like we don't quote unquote fit in, and it's because we don't. It's because our minds have transcended past the place of institutionalization. We are trying to point people back to the image. We're trying to point people back to the creator. We are trying to point people back to the source. And we're coming along and we're letting people know, hey, it ain't about all that other stuff. I'm going to give you exactly what the word says. That's it. So so, you know, I used to have that mindset of, oh, you know, I'm not called to fit in. You're right. I don't fit in because I don't have an institutionalized mentality. I have an image mentality. I understand exactly who I am and exactly who God created me to be. And my job is to help shed that light for other people as to who they are and who God created them to be. And that's all I got. God bless
you. Amen. No offering will be lifted.
it's just facts. Like that. I mean, that's just like the reality and truth that I think is important to, because again, we can have conversations about partner project. But if we don't have some of these core, if we don't have the truth in the inward parts regarding this, then we're always going to be approaching this stuff from another level of consciousness, and a consciousness that's not healing us. Why are divorce rates and that's divorce rates. So we're not even talking about long-term relationships or just relationships. That's not included in the statistic number. There's no way in hell that we're all this incompatible. There is absolutely no way that we on this planet with 8 billion people and we're all of the same source and we're this incompatible. What we don't have
we came from the same source.
And so even and that's why I say, like, with the project thing, like it's the terminology that can kind of sound negative or sound, you know, whatever, because you do got to check. Yeah. You got to make sure you're not being like B said, like Pastor B said, you can't be manipulative. But I do need to be supportive and an agent within you doing your change. I can't be controlling you, but I do need to come alongside you and be compassionate with you. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, because we do help each other reach a goal. But again, if you ain't asking me for that, meaning you're not saying, I want this relationship with you, Pastor B, because I want you to help me be. I want you to help me be who and what I am. And I'm even talking about people with romantic partners. If you can't go in your relationship and say, listen, the main reason for this, you cute, you know, you cute and all, you know,
right.
But the main reason for this is that we unfold into who we ultimately are. I'm having a conversation right now I want a spiritual partnership. All right. So trying to have that conversation with my partner on what that really looks like. What is that too much for you? Like, does that wording sound, in the beginning, that wording sounded too heavy.
But what are you saying by a spiritual partnership?
Because I believe that at the core essence of our being, we're spirit. And a lot of our relationships we're having on the surface, we're having surface level.
So what does that look like?
So the spiritual partnership to me is that saying, can we mutually be who you are? I'll support you in that. Let me be who I am. You support me in that. And we be who we are. Let's support others in that. Because I believe that people should look upon our relationship and see hope.
Yes.
And some of the reason we don't have good relationships because we don't see none. Right. So that, or the ones we do see, we're trying to be like that and don't realize that looks good on the outside, but it has no fundamental roots. You know, this is why I say a lot of times that romance don't have any feet to stand on. Not really. It's cute. It's colorful. It's nice. It's pretty. But when it really boils down to it, it's the most conditional relationship that exists, and then we call it love.
So,
but with all of them conditions, is it really love? So for a spiritual partnership, to me, is really about us being who we are, not trying to change each other, not trying to, you know, again, you affect each other. Don't get me wrong. Like, we affect each other. We ebb and flow. You know, we have our, you know, your head buttings, or you dance close with anybody, you might step on their toe. Come on now.
Absolutely.
But the wounds of a friend, the wounds of a friend is much better than the kisses of an enemy. Because you know the wounds of that friend is not to hurt you and to harm you. I'm wounding you, quote unquote, because I'm actually interested in you growing into who you really ultimately are, or
And,
I just happen to step on your toe.
right. And so with that, the spiritual part, it will have to be. And when you say it, is that too much for you? Because I think a lot of things is that we cancel out the agreement. We have to, and I have to say, yes, I'm going to give you me, and you have to say, yes, I'm going to give me to you. But in relationships, we end up saying, I want more than I'm going to give. And
Ooh.
when you want more than you're really ready to give, whatever level that's on, you end up trying to create this relationship that is damaging, and it becomes abusive, and it becomes toxic, and it becomes unhealthy, because one person is trying to preserve themselves and the other person is trying to I'm preserving myself, but I want you to give me everything you get, but I'm going to keep everything I need for me. But then you have the partner that is that is being torn down second by second, minute by minute, and it's not healthy. But I like with the language where it's going as far as agreement. And that's the only reason you get into relation. Well, not the only. That's the way to get into relationships. That's what makes relationships happen, because of agreement. We was here because I said this yesterday, and this is probably going when I say it now. We had our spirit had to even say, God, I agree with you with allowing me to be here. I'm okay with coming on earth, even though you said it. I need you here. You still ask my permission, because that's relational. But then we don't see that because God, we're here and whatever. No, but we had to just
And
say,
we sure be like, what the heck was I thinking?
right. My spirit belongs on earth, and it's the body that is going to host my spirit. So God, I believe God, and I felt that God had a conversation with our spirit and say, Marnisha, you want to go down there? And because even though he's all powerful, he gonna make stuff happen, he still give us a choice.
Mm-hmm.
And that just didn't
And we
start.
maxing it up. We mucking it up. We trying to control people. And
because he gave
we're
us a
trying
choice,
to
and we're gonna take
control,
everybody else's choice away.
and we're going to take everybody's situation
And-
away. We're trying to control people that he put down here too, or that agreed to come here too, as they are, as in what they are, and then we're trying to change them into. But again, I think it's a response to pain. It's like we
It is.
because I try to give real true homage to that, because it's not to shame people. We've been placed in an unhealthy culture, and I don't think God created this culture. We did that, right? We constructed that. There was the design, and then we have our constructs on top of that design. And even the way we do relationship today is constructed by us. And it doesn't always seem to support the design. So even in mental health and all that, what you're seeing is people trying to figure out how to manipulate their relationships to work for them. But it's a response from something that we feel in our soul. Our soul knows a song that our lips have not sung. So it's like we're trying to answer that. People that are even like, I see people talk about narcissists. That's a big thing right now, right? Oh, they're narcissists, and they said, but don't realize that came from somewhere. That came from a breach. That came from a relational breach. And while what they're doing is horrible in the way that they treat people, it's the ego erecting itself to protect something, trying to protect something, because we're not acceptable. For whatever reason, we weren't accepted as we were. So we get in these relationships. Again, you hear to talk about teach people how to, you got to teach people how to love me. Well, okay, maybe, but maybe not. Let people show you how they love, and you decide whether you want to participate in it or not. I mean, if the relationship should be this, or if the relationship should be this. Still all a part of the same body. It's just not this. All right. It's not this coupling, but we're still a part of the same body. Some is on the bottom of the feet. But it's so many languages. So much rhetoric out here that I think divides. And then we talk about partnering and projecting and all this other stuff, it's ruining the whole. We're having the wrong conversation to me. It's like we're having the wrong talk when it's why can't I find somebody? Why can't whatever? Well, I'm gonna, the whole idea of I'm gonna change people. People are getting a little better with that, where they don't say that blatantly, but they still,
They still do it.
They still doing it. Yeah, it's like they still doing it. That revelation for me, even having to pull myself back, I'm like, they didn't ask me for that. They didn't ask me. They didn't ask me to come alongside them in that way. Now, I'm going to be me. I'm still going to be me and present me as I am. But it's like they didn't ask me to do this, and it's not my job to fix this. See, that whole idea of fixing comes from this fallenness. Anyway, your purpose, you didn't come here. I don't believe, maybe I should say it this way. I don't believe we came here to fix people. We came here to support people. And if we can't support each other in this relationship because of what I am, not because we have animosity, but because of what I am, or at least the way I manifest in this world, that's not actually supportive of who you say you are, or who you're trying to be. There's relationships that I turned down. I liked them. But I was like, I don't think that I'll be able to serve who you're telling me you are. So I'm not going to be able to. Not that I don't want to. I wish I could. But if I try to change me to do that, one, who am I giving you? Two, am I actually loving you? Because love will say no. I'm saying no because I love you, actually. So we're not supposed to be romantic partners. We're just supposed to be friends. Or we're not supposed to be this. We're actually supposed to be that. But that takes discernment, not judging them. Oh, well, they're a 5-gallon and I'm a 90-gallon.
It's more about can we walk in alignment?
Can we walk in alignment? Can we walk in alignment? Can I not put a finger on an elbow? That's all. Like the finger don't belong down there. Like it belongs up here, and it's using discernment to see, oh, this is supposed to go here. It's right. And sometimes we miss it. Honestly, just come on. Like reality is sometimes we may miss it for whatever reason. It's like, oh, I thought this was supposed to go here, or I thought this would have worked, and it just didn't. That's where we have breakups and have to grieve and
that's okay. And I believe that it's
okay for you. That hurts like hell. No,
do you hear me?
What I'm saying is that we get stuck in the breakup, and it's like we would rather be in something that will continue to destroy our life than relinquish the person or be relinquished. Like breakups hurt. It's bad. Oh, I hate being there. And for so long, I was in relationships, but I lived out of fear. I served that relationship because I was so worried about you leaving me or so worried about breaking up. I really didn't enjoy the essence of who you were.
Yeah.
Now being in a relationship where having somebody that is in alignment and having a person of can you do that? Are you able to do that for me? Can I do that for you? It's shocking, refreshing. It's kind of brand new. And to be with some, and even in the relationships that I have, the friendships that I'm embarking on and developing, it's refreshing. Now it's almost like, I always kind of worked in outside of the POC relationship, even to a certain degree. It was, I can't make my friends mad because then they're gonna be mad at me. We ain't gonna talk this and this.
Rest. You don't have the rest.
Right. So now I'm in situations where I'm concrete. If we have an argument, the first go-to is, I'm not done with it's not, I'm done with you. F you, F this. I'm not, no, it's at a place of let's pull each other back. Let's step back. Let's calm down and come back. But our result to this is not, I'm breaking up with you. The result of Brandon making me upset is I'm not going to call him no more. No, that is not the end result. It's let's take a step back, clear our minds.
That's what we go to, though.
Can't leave me. No, and everything else. And so then we go into that place, and we started. I realized I was living and being led by fear. Now I'm not. Don't want to be led by fear. I don't want to be led by pain. if I get hurt again, okay, but I don't want to respond out of fear. I don't want to respond out of protection. I want to respond out of love. And when I love, I will give the person the respect in the room that they need. And it may not make me feel good all the time. It may piss me off, but it's okay, like you said, to say no, because I am showing you up. It's okay for me to give you your space. Because space, baby, somebody talking about I need 2 hours to calm down. No, you ain't. I'm in your face. Nope, because a lot of stuff can happen in 2 hours. You can chill, you can get another friend, you can get another. I be going crazy. But now understanding when I say I love somebody and respect them, I give them the respect they need, and graciously, and knowing that, positively speaking, that they will give me the same respect, because we have made an agreement with each other that this is the relationship that we want, and that the quick fix is not to throw each other in the garbage.
If we knew that's fear. Like if we knew that all of this cut off ministry, a lot of this cut off ministry is really fear. People, right? People cut folks off, and they're not thriving after the cutoff. Like it's like, oh, I'm no, you ain't thriving, baby. I like there's so much in what you said, just that whole thing of operating. If we really knew, and I'm taking to the mental health side for a second, if we really knew how much we operated from the amygdala, the fight, flight, freeze, or fawn of our brains in our relationships, I'm telling you, like we were never designed to live from that. We have it to keep us alive. God gave us that to keep us alive, right? But it was only supposed to, that should only be activated about 20 seconds and maybe 48 hours. Maybe 48 hours, and you're pushing it. You start talking about 30 days or more, you have PTSD. And most of us are living in relationships.
PTSD.
And not even just like romantic. We're living relationally with PTSD because we're operating from fight or flight. And some people freeze and fawn. That fawning is people pleasing and all that, whatever. Like we end up operating from that space because we are afraid. And again, I don't blame anybody for being afraid. We've been through a lot of crap. Relationally, relationship after relationship, and whether it be with a romantic partner, whether it be with your family that didn't love you the way you were supposed to be loved, whether it's the church that didn't love you the way you should have been loved, whether it's all these people who didn't understand their image, weren't able to give you that image, weren't able to give you what you really needed. So then when we aren't given what we really need, when we aren't given the conditions we need to thrive, we malfunction. We function the way we see. Divorce rates are over 50% and over 60-70% for second divorces. Like it increases the more marriages you get, the more likelihood of your divorce or your separation. And again, like I'm saying, that's marriages that's reported. We're not talking about people that are just in relationships or friendship circles that fall apart or what, because our go-to, like you're saying, is cut it off, just be done with them. And that's because we're cowards. We don't want to really grow. We don't want anything in our space that ain't like us. We don't want anything that don't look like us. We don't want anything that don't talk like us. And don't get me wrong, it's frustrating. It's extremely frustrating. It's for me, one of the reasons I feel lonely sometimes is because I feel like not many people think like I think. I get head nods, but they also like, this nigga crazy. So it's like but I also know that to a certain degree, their soul, their spirit soul, understands exactly what I'm talking about. But we have no answer as to how to live that out in this culture that we're living in, that we're supposed to sort of kind of navigate. But we have to move ourselves from this consciousness of just cut off,
right,
to transmute, to learning how to, who are you really? Learning how to actually transmute energy, learning how to discern, and seeing this is what I actually need to do. I realized this relationship wasn't supposed to be that. So we need to pull it back, or whatever you want to call it. I don't even want to use that word, but pull it back or let it be
reevaluate.
Reevaluate what it is. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like, because again, everybody ain't meant to be significant others in that way. So it's like, it's not saying stay with everybody you get with. I'm not saying that, but it's just our responses to this. I wish we just understood our responses to this is coming from pain, coming from breaches, our desire to project people, it's coming from that. All right. So it's like I really want people to hear, like, I'm not saying this in a way of shame on you. It's not it's almost like I see why you're doing that. I understand why you're doing it, but we have to take agency and say, I feel this rising up in me, and I feel that I'm getting ready to respond in an ill way from this fear of abandonment. Versus me actually recognizing, yep, you're feeling abandoned. Now choose the proper response. Choose the healthy response. Because you're never going to get rid of the fact that you felt abandoned. It is what it was. That was your perception of life.
It's your response.
It's like choose the healthy response. Don't just react because your partner done said, they want a threesome. Don't just react. Figure out a healthy response. That don't mean you got to join the threesome, but figure out a healthy response. It's not on, we just incompatible. That may not be the case. I'm telling you, I do this relationship with couples. I'm seeing more couples that are not incompatible. They're incooperative.
Or lack of communication.
Lack of communication, lack of collaboration.
They don't,
and everybody's fighting for themselves. Everybody feels like they have to advocate for themselves and fight for themselves. That's not how we were designed, y'all. That's operating in fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. Having to feel like I come to every situation having to defend myself. The gay community sees this a lot. That's why a lot of them got attitude. It's like because you used to being in spaces where you got to defend yourself or act like you're so prideful in who you are. It's like if you're so prideful in who you are, why so many on the altar crying saying, "Lord, deliver me"? So it's like there's pieces.
The rest will cancel out the defense.
Ooh.
And I'm learning that when you rest, it cancels out the defense.
This is why you need to know, Marisha, I ain't going nowhere. Now I can get mad at you, get pissed off at you, and don't talk to you for 6 weeks.
That's too long. Don't do that.
But it is too long. Ain't that long? It's like, but I ain't going nowhere. We need. I don't care what nobody say. We need that rest in knowing that our relationships aren't threatened because we stepped on each other's toe, and it doesn't make us incompatible. It makes us human.
Here's the thing: what we have to realize is, when you have a home, if your light bulb goes out in your home, you don't go out and buy a new home.
Bro, I said that about
you. Fix the light bulb.
Go ahead.
You replace the light bulb. When something is broken in a relationship, it does not mean that you automatically have to quit. Don't mean that you automatically just got to walk away. Let's use the example like you said. Well, I want to have a threesome. Well, we're no longer compatible. And no. My thing is this: if I'm in a relationship with someone, and my partner comes to me and says, "Hey, I want to have a threesome," my mind isn't immediately, well, we can't be together. My mind is, okay, let's talk about this. Why do you feel that way?
Why do you feel that way? Right.
Why do you feel that way? Because ultimately, what that person is really saying is, I need something that I'm not getting from you. And here's the thing, before we get in our feelings, that don't automatically mean that you're incapable of providing it. It's just simply saying in this moment, you're not providing it. And in my mind, or in that person's mind, they're saying, I need this, but I want you. So how do I mirror needing this and wanting you? Well, okay, let's have a threesome so that I get that, but I also still have you. You can't allow a person coming to you, catch this. You can't allow a person coming to you expressing how they feel the best way they can, which may not be the way you would have expressed it, but they're expressing it the best way that they can. You cannot allow that to automatically say that the relationship is over or the relationship is in jeopardy or it's in peril. No, they're coming to you saying, I need something. It's your job to say, okay, what is it that you need? How do we get to an understanding of what it is you actually need?
Yeah, because Tiffany ain't sharing nothing.
And that's fine. That's completely fine. It's like if that's your this is what you know of you. I'm not that. I'm not able to do that. That's not something that I want to do. It's like then that's completely okay. It's like this is who I am. What you're asking me for is not a part of who I am. And people have their different measuring sticks of what they can explore, what they want to explore, what they want, whatever. I love something that Pastor B said too. Is like to really, he says, what do you actually want? What do you actually want? I didn't see and then found in my clinical experience with people when they've asked for threesomes and asked for whatever, that wasn't the threesome wasn't actually what they wanted.
What they wanted.
What they wanted was some other. It was something else more fundamental. The threesome would have been the manifestation of what their mind went to that would give them what they wanted. Mm-hmm. But what they really wanted was spice. What they really wanted was something that felt fresh. What they also wanted was to experience themselves in a different way. Mm-hmm. What they've also wanted. So
they wanted to tap into their true self, their true freaky nature. And that was the best way to explain that that's what they wanted.
Because sometimes as partners, we say, oh, I'm not going to do the nasty. But some things we'll let somebody else in. And then when we bring other people in, and you make your partner feel less than. And instead of getting to the root of what you missing, what we need, what is it? So because it's a form of expression.
Do we have vulnerable? Do you? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I said, do y'all think that we have vulnerable enough relationships as to where you wouldn't have to, where people can really get to what do you really want? Because I think that if we really was able to go into the depth of vulnerability, we also wouldn't have to even move into projecting people. Do you know what I mean? Like if we really shared, I just wanted a space to be able to say I had a fantasy. It wasn't even that I really wanted to do it. I just wanted to be able to say it because it's been boggling in my mind, and I wanted to have somebody to say, but because there's sometimes things are creepy.
You know what?
You're exposed to do it, but when you can actually say,
right. Okay, so Tiffany said, "Y'all better tell me to throw a wig on."
That's why I laughed.
You better tell me to throw on a wig and some pantyhose.
But no, here's the thing: we're laughing at that.
But that's true.
The thing. Ultimately, when your partner comes to you out of nowhere and says something about a threesome, 9 times out of 10, that's really what they're saying. I want you to spice it up. I want you to make it different.
Yeah.
I don't have the words to really express to you right now what I truly want. So I'm going to give it to you the best way I can. And hopefully we can meet somewhere in the middle and figure this thing out together. But the truth is that's really what they are saying. That's really what this one got boring. Exactly. This has gotten boring. We need to provide some more spice to this. Here's the thing. If we're honest, we all want the freak in the sheets and the man or the woman in the streets. Here's the thing. For a lot of us, we done got that flipped around. We the freak in the streets. And we try to be the super classy and conservative person in the sheets. No, baby. No. Because here's the thing. When I come home after dealing with that out there, and I come home to you.
Listen.
Baby. We better be swinging from the chandeliers. We better be dead. We better be walking across the ceiling.
I dealt with that
That's
yesterday.
what I'm talking about.
I dealt with that yesterday. I tried something new. I'm going to try something new. Here I am going to try something new. When I tell you that I felt so rejected, I slept in the studio. I said, well, fine. I got in my feelings. But we do. These are things, but that don't mean it's the end of my relationship. It's like, but these are things that really generally happen. You want that, whatever.
Because it's a form of connection. It's a form of I need that from
you. Or you wanting to stay connected. Because we have to learn
to express. Because what I like that you said, that back in my heyday, I would say, I just need to know if I knew you wanted me and I knew if I could tap that, I just need to know I can tap it.
About 3 weeks ago, Bree. I'm just playing. Just playing. I'm just playing.
If I do, I can tap it. I would say I wouldn't do it because I just knew I needed to have that thrill. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I can conquer it. I don't really want to. I just got it. But also too, with that, having that safe space to say, yo, babe, I want to try this, experience that, or I thought about it and not get cussed out. It's like, yo, know what? Right now, our sex level just went up a inch because I didn't get turned on even more because you gave me a place of safety.
Yes.
So then what does it say you really want? Safety.
Right.
Do you feel what I'm saying? Like we don't
Safety to be exactly who you are.
Safety
is what you
again,
want.
going right back to me being me, letting me just be an authentic me. Right?
Absolutely.
That's what to be seen, known, heard, loved, and to have the rest. That if I say something, it don't mean I gotta go do it. But it's like me being able to say that this is what I've had a struggle with that in my relationship, like to say, or there's certain things that please tell me what these things are. I might not agree with it, but be okay with me not agreeing with it. You know, but you are safe to say that this is what's going on, and maybe we can explore some stuff. And really get down to the depth of what we're really, really wanting and really, really need.
Like Antonio just said, like, that's my biggest issue. If I make you feel safe, I want to feel safe in return. And that's what people be holding on to because they don't want to give that safety because they feel like they're not going to give it back. So then we hold ourselves back from really walking in the truth. And that's why I say if we really in agreement with this thing, I want safety, you want safety. Let's just be what we want. Let's be it. Now, you may not be the person that can give it, and that's okay. It's not okay, but that's okay. But I can't continue to put myself in a situation where I'm just loving on this potential. And it's going to kill me in the end. It's going to be toxic. And it's not, and then now I'm doing more work instead of being. It should not be that we have to keep. When relationships is work, period. So we have to do the work in a relationship, but it shouldn't be I have to do the work. Like, I gotta do this.
We should both be doing the work. It shouldn't be one person.
You know what? I want to do this for you. Because Leanne, you use the example about coming in the house clean, and I know the time is going long, but we're gonna wrap it up. But when you say coming in the house clean, the benefit of me cleaning the house for when they come home is also me coming to a house or going to sleep in the house where it's peaceful and clean too. So it creates an atmosphere that we both can benefit off of. And I'm not doing this because, she's going to be a bitch and I want to keep her mouth closed. No, I'm doing this because this is our safe place. And we need to, when we coming home and you're coming to something that smell good, look good, and guess what? I can lay my head down in this because it is good.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Antonio said exactly, and if we both in this thing, exactly.
Effective communication is so key. I had a couple once that came to me for some counseling.
That's so true.
I had a couple that came to me once for some counseling. Now, mind you, they have been together several years. And here's the thing. They have both been cheating on each other. Now, I started off their sessions with talking to them separately. Each of them mentioned the fact that they wanted to have a threesome. But they didn't know how the other person would feel about it. So finally, we come together for the joint session. And I said, you two are having problems in your marriage because you both want something and you're scared to talk to the other about it. They looked at each other. So you want one? Yeah, I didn't know you wanted one. Yeah, I do. I said, this is why communication is key. 1, communication is key. 2, we also have to stop trying to pattern our relationship after somebody else's relationship. Because what works across the street may not work in your home. That's why old folks say the grass may look greener on the other side, but it don't necessarily mean that it's truly green. Some of us have gotten good at projecting smoke and mirrors. We let you see what we want you to see. You're not catching the reality of it. The reality is If an open marriage or an open relationship works for you and in your home, then baby, do what works for you in your home, in your relationship. Stop trying to pattern it and make it look like what somebody else's relationship and their home looks like. You got to figure out what works best for you. How do you do that? Sit down and ask the tough questions. Have the tough, uncomfortable conversations.
Yeah.
Have those conversations. Be vulnerable. Here's the thing: 0 times 1 don't give you 1. It gives you 0. We don't come together as one until I show up as my whole self and you show up as your whole self, and then we become one. Mm-hmm. Here's the thing: if I'm coming to the table as just 0.75 and you coming as 1, our math is all off. We're never going to see eye to eye. We're never going to be quote unquote equally yoked because we're not showing up as our whole self. Show up as your whole self. Show them exactly who you are. Be receptive enough to receive who they are, and then make the decision from there. I tell people, in everything pertaining to me and you, I want you to be able to make a completely informed decision. So I'm going to have certain conversations with you, and I want you to feel comfortable enough to have those same conversations with me so that we can both make an informed decision before we get too far down this road.
Exactly.
We only get there if we come together and have the conversations that we don't want to have. We got to have the quote unquote taboo conversations. Yep, we sure do. We sure do. Be honest enough with your mate to say, hey, I like sex like this, or I like this sexually. Be honest enough with your mate to say that. Don't just magically one day spring it on them and then get upset when the response isn't as favorable as you want it to be. Was there a conversation about this at some point?
And get a resolution. And Tasha said, and I'm going to tag on that one. We're going to get ready to close it out. The resolution. And when you get a resolution, some feelings will definitely be hurt.
Absolutely.
But in getting a resolution, that's where healing resides, or cutting off from continuing the cycle to continue to hurt each other. Because if I tell you what I need and you're going to fake it till you make it, we're not still living in oneness.
We're not.
I'd rather know all your dirt up front, and then my feelings ain't going to get hurt at the end. My feelings is going to be like, I may just be disappointed. That's something different. Then 3 years down and we breaking up and I'm seeing this whole new different person, and you lied to me in the beginning, or you didn't tell me who you are. You didn't tell me. I realized that I was more transparent with my friends and my issues than I was with my partner, because my weaknesses that I knew was weakness, I tried to make them look as if they were strengths, and not telling, no, this is an area that I'm kind of weak in, but I came and I was able to mask it. And then I had them living an illusion that I was going, this is what it is. No, that ain't it. That's not it. I'm strong as hell. But in moments where stuff is triggered and I have not dealt with my abandonment or my fear or rejection, I had moments where I blew up. I had moments where I didn't respond like Marnisha really respond. I responded in the worst coping mechanism way that I could, because I wasn't being true. I was being, but I wasn't really saying this is what I need. This is what I feel, but I was trying to carry it. And that's the thing, having a partner, y'all said it, to walk in this journey, you have to be able to have a partner that's going to carry it. Brandon said it, one of y'all said it, carry it when one is weak and the other is strong. One is strong and the other is weak. I'm loving now that 50 and 50 it may equal 100, but you ain't gonna always have your 50. And I don't even do 50 and 50. I do 100 and 100. 100 and 100, we're gonna get 100. We'll get 200, but it's greater because it's powerful. And that's what we need. We need to not have, I'm gonna save that statement. All right, let's get ready to close, because it's gonna probably open up something else. And the time is greatly spent. Good at. Hold on, let me put this over here. Hold on. People forget it's a team effort. It is. It is.
Yep.
And it's not that we're in this ring. We're supposed to be in the ring fighting the other devices, the world, not fighting each other.
Principalities, not fighting each other.
Not fighting each other. We have to realize that we're in this ring together to fight opposition that comes to try to attack us, not to fight each other and tear each other down. Because when it's time for us to fight the opposition, we don't got no strength. Don't take the choice. That's right. Don't take the choice. Don't take your choice. Don't take that choice away from me. Because what people will be so wanting to walk this thing out with y'all. When we honest, they'll take that over anything and say, "This is who I am. Thank you for sharing that with me. We off to a good start." I take that, then you false flagging. You know what I'm saying? Better speak. Okay, now. Good ass make for a good relationship. They do. But ass is
Authenticity, safety, and support.
Okay, I can't talk in that. Authenticity, safety, and support.
Look, what you looking for in a relationship? Good ass.
Good ass.
That's good. That's great, y'all. Write down good ass. That is, yes, be yourself, safety, and support. And I'm telling you, when we get to a place of giving ourselves and allowing and creating a space for others to be safe, and we be safe in that support, that's a relationship for the records. Romantic, friendship, business, ministry, anything that you got to do beside yourself. Okay. Pastor B, can you give your last remarks on partners versus projects? Give your last remarks.
I really don't have anything else to add. This has been good.
Okay.
This has been good.
Oh, actually, also tell us about what you got going on, what you do, your show. I won't say your show. Yeah.
All right. So normally on Monday nights, I do Let's Talk with Pastor B. It's an open forum, free flow. I do have guests on sometimes. I'm normally on the air Monday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So the time we
Thank you
started
so much.
tonight,
Thank you so much.
bless you. Absolutely. So the time we started tonight is normally the time that I'm on. But it operates kind of a lot like your shameless conversations. I talk about real stuff. I don't only get on there and preach. We talk about real things. We talk about real life issues. And it's because, like I said, I pass in the margin. So my philosophy is I want to deal with the whole you, not the image, not the mask that you put on that you think you need to walk into churches and different spaces. No, I want to deal with the real you, the whole you. So I created a platform where the whole you can show up and we can talk about the things that are pertaining to you.
That's good. That's good. Leanza Czar Stockley. You're on mute, sir. You're on mute. You're on mute.
I didn't even realize I muted myself. What happens when I went to cough? Yeah. I try not to cough in the thing. It's like I don't really have much else to say either, other than what I just said about that. You know, good ass makes for a great relationship.
I'm about to hashtag that.
Be authentic, be safe, because like Pastor B was talking about, like being able to really. I feel like we need to speak to each other in the sense that be safe space so that people can show up authentically.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because if they don't feel safe, they're not going to show up authentically. Right? And then we are going to turn each other into projects and some of everything else, not even just projects. But be authentic and be supportive. Mm-hmm. And supportive don't mean, people hard when they hear me say this, that doesn't necessarily mean you got to stay in something you don't want to be in. But it's saying support people in being authentically who they are. If that's who they are and you recognize okay, this wasn't that for us. I'm going to support you in being who you are. But even if it is something where you're in with somebody else, be supportive. Aim to be supportive. We are plagued, all of us, myself included, even as a relationality specialist and minister and all the things that I do, mental health professional, we are plagued in some sense, almost infected with this judgment of each other, instead of the ability to really just discern what's good or evil, so to speak, in that sense, but not this whole condemning folks to hell type of thing, but discerning what's thriving, what's healthy, what's not, and making this a priority for you, to be authentic, to be safe space, and to also be supportive of people being who they really are. I just think that if we have those things in place, we have at least a better chance of having healthy relationships that unfold the way that they really are supposed to unfold. We find when people are safe and they can be authentic, I feel like things just they flow together.
They do.
You're well. I think Pastor B was saying earlier. You're well informed on who and what you're dealing with, so now you're able to make choice versus just being drawn in, or somebody won your heart or captured your heart and all this other stuff that we say. No, you was actually able to make a choice for this person, and beyond making a choice for this person, you was able to make covenant with this person, which is a word people don't know.
That word.
I said the word covenant to a 25-year-old. She said, "What's that?" She's thinking about seances and all kinds of types of things. I was like, "That's because it's a lost word. We don't use the word covenant today."
I love that word. Favorite word. Also, Zar, can you share with us your books, your all that?
So my website is leanzastockley.com, right? That's where you can get
leanzastockley.com, because he's talking the other way.
leanzastockley.com, so you can find my books. These books are there. Relationality. This is my Bible, drop the mic book, just about consciously aligning to our divine relational worth. And then the other one is Relationship Ready, for those people that think they want to do it. You think you want to do it, make sure you're ready for it. All that comes with that. Ready to be in a relationship, not ready to make people your project. And then, but also can find coaching and counseling on my website as well, because I do that for relationships, spiritual intelligence, as well as mental health. So I call it all relationality. All right. The work that I do is take a psychosocial and psychospiritual approach to just mental health and well-being. So, or you can follow me on social media, Leanzar, or on Instagram, it's at Society61.
And he got an underwear.
Don't follow that page, because you're gonna see some stuff you don't want to see. The Saints can't hear you.
Well, this is for.
Or you're gonna see some stuff you do want to see that might have you having a conversation with your partner. So just. I'm just playing.
I'll say yes to my Lord.
I say yes. I'm just playing.
Woo, but anywho, yes, I like the underwear. The underwear brand.
It's underwear and nude art.
Move on.
I mean, since we're talking, it's also nude art. It started as nude art, folks.
Move on.
It did start as nude art.
Move on. We
move
done
on.
got lost. Move on.
Said, come on.
Move on. Keep moving.
You know what? Hey,
we done got lost.
We got to move.
When Brandon Apostle B write his book, we need to purchase that as well. Thank y'all, gentlemen. Thank y'all, everybody that joined in. I've also, my last remarks, when you know you are building something, build it together. And so your partner can definitely be y'all can work together and have a project, and y'all relationship is the project to build, not to try to change other people, not to change your partner, not to change your friend, but allowing them to be, so y'all can build together and have a healthy project. And y'all relationship is y'all project that y'all agree upon to build one another up. All right, we thank y'all. Like, tag, share. I'm your GPS, God's personal servant. See y'all next week. I don't remember my guess, but see y'all next Monday at 8:00 here. Once again, thank y'all, brothers. Don't get off yet. Let's see what somebody else said. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, y'all have an amazing God night.